just got shot, and he in ICU. I say, 50 what?
The second 50 Cent finally spoke on how Gene Deal literally saved his life, the culture stopped breathing. Like, wait, why is this just coming out now? Because this wasn't some small scare or a friendly heads up. This was a real-life turning point. One wrong move, one bad second, one corner taken too slow, and hip-hop might have lost 50 before he ever became the giant he is today. And according to 50 himself, the only reason he's still standing is because Gene Deal stepped in at the perfect moment and made a call nobody else was bold enough to make. When 50 told the story, you could hear it in his voice. This wasn't content, this was personal, this was heavy, and this was something he'd been sitting with for years.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead. And the guy who paid him got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
To really feel why this hit so hard, you've got to understand the era. 50 Cent wasn't just another hungry rapper trying to get on. He was a street target, an industry problem, and a real threat to people who didn't want the balance shifting. Back then, the music business wasn't playing online games, no tweets, no IG sneak disses. It was real pressure, real danger, and real enemies who wouldn't hesitate to erase you if it kept their power intact. 50 was moving in a world where one wrong handshake could be the end of the story. That's why Gene Deal mattered. He wasn't an artist, he wasn't chasing clout. He was an industry watcher, someone who'd seen every setup, every trap, every backdoor play that happened behind closed doors.
The day 50 Cent was shot, I was walking through, and BMF was there too. Meechnam was there too.
Who has more cred than you, living after being shot 9 times?
I don't know what the criteria are for street credibility. Or
That's
if there's something that creates more merit for you. I looked at that experience as something that was unfortunate that I had to.
I forget, why the guy shot you 9 times? Was it drugs or something?
He was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it.
So when Gene Deal pulled 50 to the side, when he gave him that warning and broke down what was really going on, it wasn't paranoia, it wasn't a guess. It came from experience, access, and years of watching what happens to artists who ignore the signs. Gene knew who was plotting, he knew the motive, and he knew 50 was in danger in ways 50 hadn't fully clocked yet. This wasn't about rap beef or record sales, this was survival. 50 said Gene didn't dress it up at all. He told him straight, certain people weren't just talking, they were already moving. Folks smiling in his face had a whole different plan once the doors closed. There was an actual strategy forming to take him out before he could blow. And 50, young, hungry, and focused on the music, didn't realize how deep the politics went. He thought he was playing chess, but Gene already knew the entire board. And here's the part that really hits. Gene put his own position on the line by speaking up. Most people would have stayed quiet, protected their paycheck, protected their connections, but Gene wasn't wired that way. He chose loyalty and truth, even if it meant stirring things up. And that single decision is what kept 50 alive long enough to become the icon we know today. When 50 finally put this out there, it sent shockwaves through the culture, and the details only get heavier.
Karma. Explain to me again why this guy was hired to shoot you 9 times.
Well, you was paid because someone, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction that they were going.
And you want time.
As 50 broke down the moment Gene stepped in, he made one thing crystal clear. This wasn't a casual watch your back conversation. This was a full exposure of a setup that could have ended everything before Get Rich or Die Tryin' ever hit the streets. Gene wasn't reacting to rumors. He was acting on solid intel from people who knew exactly what certain individuals were planning. He'd been around long enough to see how artists get lined up, how jealousy turns into danger, and how quiet enemies smile right in your face. He'd watched careers collapse, lives get flipped, and artists blindsided by people they trusted. So when he saw the same pattern forming around 50, he didn't hesitate. 50 said Gene approached him with the urgency of someone who'd seen this play out too many times. No easing into it, no soft language. He told him straight, some of the people around him weren't allies. They were watching him too closely, asking the wrong questions, moving funny. Gene said certain folks didn't like his momentum, didn't like his rise, and definitely didn't like the idea of him becoming bigger than they could control. And at that moment, 50 wasn't just buzzing, he was shaking the industry. The mixtapes were undeniable, the stories were raw, and that realness made powerful people nervous in ways fans never got to see.
That Irv Gotti and them had put it out there like they was a part of it and they was gonna do it that night, the day at the meeting.
Gene could feel the tension rising and knew it was only a matter of time before someone tried to take 50 out for good. So he pulled him aside and gave him real warnings, naming specific people, specific meetings, and specific environments that weren't safe. He told 50 to stop popping up at certain places, stop trusting certain conversations, and stop letting certain people get too close. And this wasn't paranoia. Gene wasn't talking out of fear, he was talking from lived experience. He had seen how the industry rewards silence and punishes anyone who tells the truth. By speaking up, he was putting everything on the line. 50 said that conversation completely changed how he moved. Gene's warning opened his eyes to who genuinely respected him and who was secretly threatened by him. He stopped going to certain studios, he backed away from certain deals, he cut off people who smiled in his face but whispered behind his back. All of a sudden, he could spot the snakes in real time. And once he made those moves, all that weird energy around him started revealing itself. People slipped up, showed their true colors, and proved Gene had been right all along.
Got up there, we came in and shit. You had Navy SEALs with it, 2 in all directions. About 6 of them.
When you get hurt that bad, either your fear consumes you or you become a bit insensitive. So just after...
Which one was it for you?
There was a point that I was afraid.
Afraid?
Yeah, following that.
The more 50 talked, the clearer it became. Gene didn't just save his life, he saved his future. Without that warning, 50 could have walked straight into a situation he might not have walked away from. And what made it even deeper? Gene never bragged about it. He never asked for credit, never tried to turn it into leverage. He kept it quiet until the moment was right, and 50 respected that more than anything. As the story unfolded, 50 explained the deeper connection between Gene and the world they were navigating. Gene had lived through some of the most dangerous chapters in New York hip-hop history. He was there during the bad boy era, through label wars, through the politics between crews, security teams, and insiders. He knew how fast egos, money, and power could turn deadly. So when he started seeing the same signs around 50, he didn't hesitate. 50 described Gene as someone who could sense danger before it even walked in the room. He could tell someone was lying by how they stood, spot an unsafe meeting just by the invite list, and feel a setup just from the energy in the air. And when those same red flags surrounded 50, Gene stepped in, even though it wasn't his responsibility. That's what made it hit different. This wasn't business, this was personal.
He's sitting these there. I don't care if you agree with the rationale. And 50-50, he gonna stand in it. He gonna stand strong in it.
I look at it from both sides.
And what made everything even crazier was how accurate Gene's warning turned out to be. As 50 distanced himself from the people Gene mentioned, he started hearing about conversations happening behind his back. People were plotting to derail his career, sabotage his opportunities, and label him as too dangerous to support. Some were trying to catch him slipping in the streets. Others were trying to tie his name to problems he had nothing to do with. And the deeper 50 dug, the more he realized he'd been surrounded by people who didn't want him alive long enough to reach his full potential. Gene's warning didn't just protect him physically, it protected him mentally. It changed how he trusted people, made him sharper, more strategic, more guarded. That famous "I don't trust nobody" mindset, that didn't come out of nowhere. Moments like this built it. And Gene Deal was one of the few who earned 50's respect by keeping it real when others were busy trying to manipulate him. 50 said Gene's honesty showed him the difference between real loyalty and fake loyalty.
Real loyalty protects you when you're not in the room. Fake loyalty smiles for the cameras and vanishes when things get uncomfortable. Gene didn't vanish, he stood up, and that changed everything. 50 also explained why he waited so long to share this story. Back then, saying anything could have triggered the wrong reactions, exposed the wrong people, or reopened situations better left untouched. But now, with time past, he felt it was right to tell the truth and give Gene his flowers while he's still here. Too many people wait until it's too late. 50 didn't want to do that. He wanted Gene to know he was appreciated now. That one decision echoed through 50's entire career. Without it, he could have been another tragic headline. But because Gene spoke up, the world got to see a rap empire rise. G-Unit took over. 50 expanded into film, TV, and business and built real generational wealth. And all of it traces back to someone refusing to stay silent. 50 said he'll never forget Gene's tone when he warned him. It wasn't fear, it was conviction, the kind that only comes from someone who truly cares about your future. And in an industry where that kind of care is rare, it mattered. That's why 50 calls Gene Deal a real one. Not because of rumors, but because he acted when it counted. By the time 50 finished telling the story, fans were stunned, emotional, and realizing just how close hip-hop came to losing one of its biggest figures. And the wildest part? Gene never chased clout from it. He kept it quiet, the same way he protected 50. That's real loyalty. This wasn't just a story about survival. It was a reminder that behind every legend, there's someone whose actions changed the entire path. And for 50, that person was Gene Deal, the one whose honesty, instincts, and courage stopped a tragedy and made one of hip-hop's most iconic runs possible.